Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hundreds of migrants are once again being released onto the streets of San Diego. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Carroll in for Maya Trabulsi. Border officials started drop-offs at transit stations this morning, one day after San Diego County shut down its Migrant Welcome Center. KPBS reporter Gustavo Solis has the story.
About 300 migrants were left outside at the Iris Transit Station in San Isidro. They were cold, hungry, and tired as they unloaded their bags from the Customs and Border Protection buses. Felipe is a 19-year-old Colombian asylum seeker who crossed the border with his family. We aren't using his full name.
Me separaron de ellos, ahorita no tengo información de ninguno de ellos y no, hasta el momento no sé nada de ellos.
Because he's technically an adult, Felipe was separated from his parents and younger siblings. He doesn't have a phone and has no way of contacting them.
El que migra le toca cosas pesadas.
Felipe's family fled Colombia because of gang violence. According to the Human Rights Watch, armed groups in Colombia have committed serious abuses against civilians, including kidnappings and forcing children into their gangs. Iris Transit Center doesn't have the infrastructure to welcome migrants. No shelter, no public restrooms, no benches or Wi-Fi. Pedro Rios is an activist with American Friends Service Committee. He was the lone volunteer trying to welcome migrants as the CBP buses dropped them off.
When people were first dropped off by Border Patrol, many people left that way, and I'm not sure I was able to capture everyone and to inform people that, hey, come this way. If you go on that bus, you might get lost. You might not know where you're at.
And that's the main concern, that this vulnerable population wanders into the streets of San Diego without any help. Rio says that most of these migrants don't plan to stay in San Diego. They simply want to reunite with friends and relatives in other parts of the country.
They want to know how to connect with their family members. Some of them have been separated.
Rio says local nonprofits are not getting any support from city, county, state, or federal government.
No government support. Absolutely no government support.
Under normal circumstances, people would have been taken to the Migrant Welcome Center, funded by $6 million from San Diego County. That center, which was known as Central, welcomed more than 81,000 migrants from October to February, but it just closed due to lack of funding. Now with that center closed, volunteers are scrambling to find other ways to welcome migrants.
We're seeing how it is evolving day to day. I know there's going to be many challenges since we're doing this out of our own dimes. All the NGOs and partners on the ground that are working on this.
That's Paulina Reyes from the Immigrant Defenders Law Center. She says volunteers are transporting migrants from San Isidro to the Old Town Trolley Station.
We think this is a good central location. It has all of the major stops. It has a free shuttle to the airport. It also has better access to other shops, money exchange, and it also has the major stops for buses, Amtrak, Greyhound, Flixbus, things like that, that people need in order to be able to move onward.
Given the lack of support from local governments, nonprofits are asking San Diego to step up.
So we welcome anyone, a community member that wants to step up or wants to be involved in this and help us along the way.
The best way to do so is by reaching out directly to groups like American Friends Service Committee, Immigrant Defenders Law Center, Al Otro Lado, Haitian Bridge Alliance, and the We All We Got San Diego Mutual Aid Group. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
The school bell will ring again first thing Monday morning, welcoming students back to Bancroft Elementary. It was the most damaged campus in the La Mesa Spring Valley School District when last month's raging floodwaters destroyed flooring everywhere. KPBS education reporter MG Perez brings us a look at the school's next chapter.
just random stuff.
Nicole Wilson is moving back into the classroom. She and her students evacuated last month, and she started with changing the calendar on the wall.
I came back, and that was on January 22nd. So it was kind of frozen in time. It was a little eerie.
Wilson shot this video on her cell phone as the record rains that day flooded Bancroft Elementary, situated at the bottom of a Spring Valley hill surrounded by storm drains that clogged with mud and debris.
I did get a chance to switch up some things and just start new. It's going to be a fresh start. But we're also going to be getting back into our routine because consistency is the best thing for these kids right now.
For just about a month and a day, more than 400 students and 53 Bancroft staff members have been visitors, learning at nearby Spring Valley Academy, forced from their campus so that extensive repairs could be done. Flooring in every office and classroom was destroyed.
Yeah, this is our main office.
Robert Cochran is Chief Safety Officer for the La Mesa Spring Valley School District. He has spent most of the past month coordinating demolition, renovations, and repairs. In record time, the library went from frightening to fresh, with new carpeting, 40,000 square feet of flooring everywhere, with heavy vinyl backing that can be repaired more efficiently if flooding comes again.
There has really been a massive support, both internally and externally, in order to bring this together, repair these buildings, make them safe and ready for occupation.
Administrators and teachers have planned Monday's return to the Bancroft campus as a celebration. They want to celebrate students who not only survived a crisis, but continue to thrive in one of their most teachable moments. Like 10-year-old fifth grader Abel Rogers. What are you most excited about going back?
That we have new flooring. And we get to have our normal recess time.
Nicole Wilson is excited to get back to learning, too.
That was our biggest teachable moment, is just learning resilience and moving forward.
MG Perez, KPBS News.
It was a stressful and confusing day for some families displaced from their homes due to last month's floods. Flood victims with vouchers from the county to stay at the Comfort Inn in Bonita say they were told they had to be out by today. Later, they were told they had received incorrect information. One of those people is Donna Maria from Mountain View. She says she was told to go to another motel in National City to extend her voucher, which she did.
Like we're living on the edge, not knowing what we're going to do, what takes place next, who's in charge. We're just confused. We're confused. We don't know what to do.
The County of San Diego says only those with expiring vouchers had to verify their information to confirm their circumstances were still the same and that it could be done with their caseworker over the phone.
I'm Ariela Scalise, and coming up tonight, we're down to the 50s under a partly cloudy sky tonight. A pretty pleasant weekend with some warmer temperatures on the way, but we're going to be eventually watching the cooler air take over and the return of some precip early into the week. We'll have a closer look coming up.
You don't have to wait until Election Day to vote in person. 39 voting centers in San Diego County will open for early voting starting tomorrow. Centers are open daily from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. through March 4th. And starting March 2nd, an additional 179 centers will open. For information on how and where you can cast your ballot, visit our voter hub at kpbs.org/voterhub. California State University student assistants have voted overwhelmingly to unionize. They will now form the largest undergraduate student union in the country. Results of a week-long online election were announced this morning in Sacramento by the Public Employment Relations Board. With a 97% majority, more than 20,000 student assistants on campuses across California will become members of the Cal State University Employees Local 2579. They are fighting for a guaranteed minimum number of work hours, salaries that are above minimum wage, and paid sick leave.
We were tired of being treated like we're some sort of other when we're not. We're human beings, and all we're trying to do is get an education and live. That on its own is hard enough.
The Union victory is being celebrated across the 23 campuses of the CSU, including student assistants at Cal State San Marcos and San Diego State University, of which KPBS is a service. The aircraft carrier Carl Vinson and its strike group returned to San Diego today after a shorter than usual 4-month deployment. KPBS military reporter Andrew Dyer says there were excited families ready to welcome their sailors home.
6-year-old Venice Anaba waits with her mother Tiffany Anaba at the fence. She's excited to see her other mom disembark from the Carl Vinson. For a 6-year-old, 4 months is a long time.
I missed it so much.
The Vinson and its strike group deployed in October, spending much of the last 4 months in the Indo-Pacific area, where the U.S. maintains a robust naval presence near China and Korea. Things didn't go as planned. In November, an Air Force V-22 Osprey crashed near Japan, killing 8 Special Operations airmen. The Pentagon grounded its entire fleet of Ospreys, including those charged with carrying personnel and supplies to and from the Vinson. Strike Group Commander Rear Admiral Carlos Sardiello says the Navy had a backup plan.
We brought C-2 Greyhounds from the air wing that is deployed forward in Japan to support us within days of the grounding. So we were able to continue our operations with no operational impact.
The 4-month deployment is shorter than the normal 6 or 7 months carriers routinely spend at sea. Sardiello says that was their mission.
Our operations meet the requirements of our combatant commanders and our national leaders. We are ready to go at all times, and that was a time of choosing where we were going to deploy now. We're ready to go tomorrow, and we will go again when necessary.
Now, as for what's next for the crew of the Vinson, a Navy official says they'll get some time off, but then it's back to the busy Pacific Fleet operation and deployment cycle. From Naval Air Station North Island, I'm Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
As American homeowners continue to rely on video security systems to keep their families safe, a recent glitch by one smart camera maker is raising security and privacy concerns. It allowed users to see footage from other homes. Michael Yoshida has that story.
Smart camera maker Wise is blaming a technical glitch for a security issue that allowed about 13,000 customers to see images and video from inside other people's homes last week.
I work in this space, so I'm not all that surprised.
Wise says customers saw thumbnails from other users' homes in the company's app. 1,500 of them tapped to enlarge the thumbnails, allowing some customers to watch footage from other people's cameras. Rob Gabriel, a home security expert for safehome.org, says while it may be convenient to access wireless security cameras remotely through our devices, that ease and comfort comes with a cost.
Our privacy risk is almost like a tax that we pay for the convenience of being connected to the internet and, the Internet of Things.
Gabriel says companies have the responsibility to make sure they keep improving their security protocols. There are also simple steps you can take to minimize your risk. First, check the company's track record. Second, only put cameras in living rooms, hallways, and near doors, not in bathrooms or bedrooms. That way, if someone accessed your home security camera, they won't capture your most intimate moments. Gabriel also recommends cameras with privacy shutters.
It's an actual physical shutter that you can hear click on and off, so that the camera is not viewing you when you don't want it to be.
Wise says more than 99.75% of all accounts were unaffected by the security issue. And the company says it has added a new layer of verification before users can see thumbnails and videos to prevent this from happening again. I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Crews are trying to determine what caused a young gray whale to wash ashore on La Jolla Shores Beach. The whale was first spotted yesterday afternoon and was reportedly alive at the time. Crews from the National Atmospheric and Oceanic Administration later confirmed the whale had died. Its body was towed away earlier today. NOAA says the whale is 24 feet long, 11,000 pounds, and did not appear to be in good health. NOAA plans to perform a necropsy. Tourists are flocking to one of the hottest places on Earth to witness something quite unusual, a temporary lake right in the middle of one of the driest regions in America. As Stephanie Elam explains, it's all due to California's record heavy rain this season.
Tourists wading in, kayakers paddling out. This is, after all, California, but this is not the ocean. In fact, It's 282 feet below sea level. This is Death Valley, the lowest point in North America and the hottest place on Earth, now attracting visitors with its cool lake water. This group of friends drove in from Las Vegas.
It's like a Garden of Eden, wouldn't you think? I mean, look at it.
You can check it off your bucket list, and you don't know when it's going to happen again.
Like the desert oasis it is, the last time the lake appeared was 19 years ago. But things are changing.
The climate change models for this area predict warmer temperatures, which we are definitely seeing, and also more intense rainstorms.
Yet even for park ranger Abby Wines, the massive Lake Manly is a marvel.
Normally there's a lot more evaporative potential than there is rainfall coming in, meaning that this is usually just a dry salt flat.
On average, Death Valley gets 2 inches of rain a year. But in the last half year, the park has been walloped with nearly 5 inches of rain, Wine says, including from Tropical Storm Hillary last August.
It's the rainiest day we've ever had on record.
This is what Badwater Basin usually looks like. This is what it looks like now. Woohoo! Even I couldn't resist getting out there.
It's hard to overstate just how incredibly special and serene it is to kayak in Death Valley. Right now, Lake Manly is about 6 miles long and 3 miles wide, but it's only about a foot deep.
Yeah. Salty. Yeah.
Visitors are finding out just how salty the water is. Rangers say it's more a sight to see than taste.
I haven't seen anything living in there.
I mean, well, and also it's very salty.
It's extremely salty. It's too salty to drink, so it's not going to help the wildlife in the area at all.
But no one is bitter about getting salt-soaked.
Miraculous.
Chee-hoo! Surreal.
Crazy.
If it means enjoying the magic of a dreamy lake in the driest place in North America.
And if you do want to experience the lake for yourself, time is of the essence, because as it starts to heat up here in the desert and that evaporation rate goes up, the lake will soon disappear. Stephanie Elam, CNN, Death Valley, California.
The return of giant pandas to San Diego isn't just an environmental story, it's also a tourism story. SDSU's Miro Kopik tells us how this will bring more visitors in the Friday Business Report.
The pandas really kind of grew in their kind of popularity when they were here in the San Diego Zoo. Now, what we see is, 30 million people are coming to San Diego on an annual basis. 4 million go to the zoo. What this is going to do is it's going to bring people who are going to make this a destination trip. It's going to bring a lot more visitors from within Southern California, Nevada, and Arizona, because these are all drivable distances. But the pandas then become a unique option. So it's going to drive attendance to, well north of 4 million a year. And then on top of it, the zoo will have a lot of merchandising opportunities with books about pandas, videos, plush toys for young kids. And so it'll drive a lot of attention. It'll maintain that the zoo being truly the destination here in San Diego.
And let's start with our weather headlines, because we'll eventually watch some cooler temperatures moving through as we head throughout the weekend. And then early into the week, we're going to be watching those precip chances start to increase Monday into early Tuesday. And then as we look ahead to the middle of the week, things are going to be drier as temperatures return closer to the historical average. So tonight we will drop to the 40s in Oceanside, 50s in San Diego, Chula Vista 51. In the Borrego Springs, temperatures dropping to the 50s, and Mount Laguna, you'll be down to about 35 through tonight. It's a nice weekend. High pressure in control. Things stay dry. Things stay overall pretty pleasant here as we do begin the weekend. So hopefully you can get out and enjoy maybe some beach time, maybe going for a walk, a hike, maybe doing some yard work. Taking a closer look at what we can expect for the day tomorrow around San Diego County. A warm one in San Diego and Borrego Springs at 77. More clouds, maybe even a shower or two in Mount Laguna at 50. San Diego feeling pretty nice with temperatures into the upper 60s. High pressure still dominates as we head into the day on Sunday, so it will be another dry day, but we will watch a bit of a pattern change earlier on into the week, and that's going to be responsible for the return of some wet weather, possibly late Monday and into Tuesday. So we're going to take you out the next 5 days. We're going to start things into the coast where looking pretty good. You will notice a dip in temperatures, though, from Saturday to Sunday as more clouds do move in, a high of only 66. And then throughout the day on Monday, that's when we'll see the passing shower or two. And I think we could start with the little bit of rain early on Tuesday morning before more sunshine and temperatures back into the mid-60s. We look further inland here where it's going to be a warmer day on Saturday. Temperatures drop a bit as we head into the day on Sunday. A passing shower on Monday and a few showers will linger on Tuesday before we start to welcome more sunshine back and warmer temperatures by Wednesday into the upper 60s. Could see a shower or two later in the day on Saturday in the mountains, otherwise cooler by Sunday and Monday as the winds pick up. Windy conditions with a little bit of rain on Tuesday and then colder sunshine by Wednesday. Temperatures peak into the desert on Sunday, upper 70s, and then we'll see a slow drop in temperatures by the middle of next week. For KPBS News, I'm Ariella Scalise.
Looking for something to watch this weekend? KPBS cinema junkie Beth Accomando has a very diverse pair of films to recommend.
2 years ago, Joel Coen made The Tragedy of Macbeth without his brother Ethan. Now Ethan has gone solo with Drive-Away Dolls. But together or apart, a Coen film is always worth your attention. With Drive-Away Dolls, Ethan leaves his sibling on the side of the road, but delivers a film that has the pace, absurdity, and wacky characters that you've grown to expect in their collaborative works. Drive-Away Dolls is set in motion by a mysterious case.
The case, Santos. Not on your life.
And a pair of young women who accidentally get a drive-away car containing the case from Curly.
Don't call me Curly.
And your name, Curly?
My name is Curly. We just met. It's too familiar.
Drive-Away Dolls is a trippy, raunchy, darkly comic queer joyride. It takes a few unexpected turns and delivers a spot-on cast of celebrity cameos as well as great character actors. It doesn't have a lot on its mind, but it offers a most entertaining ride. In sharp contrast, The Zone of Interest has a lot on its mind. In fact, it's all about an idea rather than a story. The idea is to explore the banality of evil through a portrait of Rudolf Höss, the real-life commandant of Auschwitz, as he and his wife Hedwig strive to create a perfect life living next to a death camp. On the one hand, Zone of Interest is a chillingly brilliant dissection of evil that uses sound design in a boldly effective way. On the other hand, it feels like an intellectual exercise that proves its thesis early on and then just keeps repeating its obvious point with relentless single-mindedness and without further illumination. But despite some frustrations with the film, I still recommend The Zone of Interest, if only for the stunning and innovative sound design that becomes a character all its own and conveys the horrors that lie just beyond the well-groomed garden and its protective walls. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
An unexpected protagonist is ready to make his grand entrance in Vista this weekend. KPBS reporter Jacob Ayer says the launch of a locally created comic book is just one part of the inaugural Chicano Arts Festival in the North County city.
Flip through it. He's going to the plaza. You know, he's selling his tamales at his puestecito.
Comic books are many things, full of stories, illustrations, and life lessons. Something they're usually not focused on is tamales or Chicano culture.
All people enjoying the tamales.
But that's exactly the point of a new, locally written and illustrated work called Tamale Guy, say co-creators Ish Galvin and Vince Vargas.
And, you know, it's kind of like your grandmother's favorite novela mixed with, you know, a little bit of La Bamba in there, with a little bit of some horror flicks in there. You got some Friday the 13th a little bit.
The co-founders of Triple OG Comics are launching the first installation of Tamale Guy this weekend during the first Chicano Arts Festival in Vista. Galvin says the festival ties together perfectly with what they've created.
A lot of stories come from our family. It's stories that we heard growing up from, you know, our tios and our tias, just verbal stories.
Natalie Vega is in charge of the art festival and says it's going to be everything Chicano in one place. That includes food and craft vendors, interactive art, Plus,
along with we got hip hop and cumbia bands. Then next to it, we're going to have all the lowriders parked right there. And then we're going to have live art down towards the end of the street. We're going to have vendors filling this street up.
she says the festival has been years in the making, and it's bigger than just the comic. It's about pride for the community. Vega's expecting a big turnout.
Tamale Guy comic was kind of the push I needed to get the my vision for Chicano and Latin to be represented here in Vista. I feel like they're always forgotten.
The Tamale Guy's origin story has humble and local roots in the classroom. Both Galvin and Vargas teach the art of comics to elementary and middle school students in Vista Unified before and after school.
We basically co-founded a comic book class where for 3 years now it's been running, where the kids can come in, learn about comics, they get lectures, they get a chance to do comics with professional grade paper.
Galvin's background as a writer and illustrator and Vargas's work as a spray can muralist came together to create Tamale Guy. They say the comic portrays the authentic beauty and pain of modern Mexican and Chicano identity while diving into indigenous history.
In Mexican music, we have corridos, which are basically outlaw ballads and stuff like that. And this is our ballad of the tamalero. Instead of a gunslinger, he's a tamale slinger,
This is the first installment of Tamale Guy, with other issues planned for the future, and a Spanish language version could be on the way. The two creators say this particular comic isn't geared toward children, but they hope the pages they wrote, inked, and colored in the comic book inspires a younger generation.
I always tell the kids, when they say, I'm not good at art, I go, comics is not really about art, it's about the story. You have a great story, you're gonna have a great comic.
The Chicano Art Festival and comic book launch is taking place this Saturday from 2 to 6 p.m. along South Citrus Avenue in Vista. It's free for the public, and there will be both fictional and real-life tamaleros at the festival. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm John Carroll. Have a great evening and a terrific weekend.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, and air restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.